Very pleased to welcome Tanya Walter to the program today, the newest member of the BC Lions. I'm reading from the news release that went out first part of the week. The BC Lions announced today the hiring of Tanya Walter to the coaching staff as defensive assistant. Walter becomes the first full-time female coaching hire in Canadian Football League history, and she joins us now. I know you're an Alberta gal, Tanya, but you're now working for a BC team. Where are you joining us from today?
Right now, I am still in Edmonton for the next little bit before I head out to Vancouver.
Right. Well, it's going to get very busy, obviously, because as you know, the pace of this sport. I want to say congratulations on this appointment. I've seen all the ballyhoo. Even I worked in the league for 20 years. The coverage has been amazing. Has it surprised you a little bit? Overwhelmed you a little bit?
I knew that it would hit the news, and I was well aware of that. I mean, I've seen, women I know who coach in the NFL and how that has kind of transpired when they've been brought on. So I was expecting it. I don't know if I was expecting it to the point that it is. And I'm also honestly I'm very impressed at how positive everything has been. I mean, I know I've seen, again, the NFL side of things where it wasn't always, the most positive, but I think, it's a huge difference in Canada. And I think that says a lot about the sport, and it says a lot about our country.
Yeah, there's no doubt. So, Tanya, I wasn't aware of your resume before you took this job. So if you wouldn't mind, could you please inform our viewers of your playing and coaching resume and what you feel has you ready for this new role?
Yeah, absolutely. So I started playing for the Edmonton Storm, who play in the Western Women's Canadian Football League, in 2013. This year, obviously, I'll be retiring, but I've been playing for them since then. In 2016, I represented Team Alberta at the Canadian Nationals, and then in 2017, I went on to play for Team Canada in the World Championships. Many awards along the way. I had the opportunity to go down to a couple camps in the States, the World Women's Football Games. I also was invited to attend the 2018 NFL Women's Career Forum, which was kind of where I guess I could say this whole process really began. But as a coach, a couple of years into playing, I coached basketball before. I taught dance and stuff. So it wasn't really anything that was overly new to me to be a coach. And also I have, a long career in personal training and sports performance, which a lot of those skills when it comes to coaching are very overlapping. So I started coaching for the FX high school team here in Edmonton in 2017, I believe. And I've been with them since up until now. I've also had the opportunity to take 2 teams to flag football nationals and regionals with Football Alberta. And on top of that, I coached one of our all-girls tackle football teams here in Edmonton in the inaugural year to a championship. And then really any coaching opportunity that's come along, I've went for it. So I've coached a little bit here and there with the Edmonton Huskies, as well as I've worked with some of the U18, U16 Football Alberta camps and tryouts. So I've, really taken the opportunity when it's presented itself to put myself in as many different scenarios and positions as possible. On top of that, I've done a lot of development pieces in Edmonton for girls football specifically and women's. So I think a lot of the skills of trying to build something and perfect something really do fall into that coaching parameter as well. And the last 2 years, I've also spent working directly with the Minor Football Association here in Edmonton and another organization called Free Play for Kids. So I had just recently in 2020 flipped right into football administration as well.
Forgive me, the news release does not say, there's a quotes from yourself and head coach Rick Campbell and co-GM, what your role is going to be with the Lions. Has that been announced anywhere? Has that been talked about?
Yeah, so it's defensive assistant coach. So not in charge of any specific positional group, but just really assisting all of the groups as well as special teams. So a lot of film stuff, a lot of logging, and just general, being there for all of the defensive coaches whenever possible.
Oh, cool. So, do you have a preferred side of the ball? Obviously, I mean, you've been doing this long enough, you're going to see all 3 phases of the game, but what's your niche? Which side did you play, or did you have a specialty?
So I started out as a linebacker, and I spent most of my playing career there until the last couple of years. When I went to Team Canada, I actually played offensive line for the first time. So that was my first crack at the offensive side of the ball, which was really great because at that time, like I was still, new-ish to football, and to actually finally get to learn the other side from a player perspective was really great. I still think I'm definitely a defensive player, defensive coach at heart, even though I have spent a good amount of time on the other side of the ball at offensive line.
Yeah, I don't think it ever really leaves you, whatever what's in your DNA, if it's the defensive side. Wally's a defensive coach. Chris Jones is a defensive coach. Which reminds me, by the way, so you're an Edmonton gal, or Forestburg, Alberta, which must be a small town because I've never heard of it. Where is Forestburg, Alberta?
So it's 2 hours southeast of Edmonton. And yes, you're correct. It is very small, like 800 people, and probably hasn't changed much recently.
Cool. Well, hey, that's like my hometown, 640 people, Milestone, Saskatchewan. The population never goes up or down because every time a girl gets pregnant, a guy leaves town. They say that's the joke of Milestone, Saskatchewan. But a lot of Eskimo or elk fans out there. What's the rooting interest of that community?
Sorry, can you repeat that? I missed the beginning of it.
What's the favorite CFL team of Forestburg, Alberta?
Oh, Forestburg. I guess maybe the Elks. Honestly, like football, I don't think was really that much on the radar in Forestburg. I mean, we didn't have a local football team. So just really like anyone out there didn't have a lot of, I guess, access or awareness to the sport, really.
Mm-hmm. What was, did you grow up I don't know what to say. Grow up an Eskimo fan, Edmonton football team fan? I mean, did you have a CFL team as a kid?
No, so I was very much like the rest of the town. Like I, was a basketball player. I did competitive dance. I just didn't really have the opportunity to be around football. It wasn't until I moved to the city 1 or 2 years into it that I started paying attention to football and I started watching it. And actually, the ironic part is my first favorite team was actually the BC Lions back when they had Casey Printers. So it's kind of neat to see that come full circle.
That was a very interesting time in BC Lions football. So you said you're still in Edmonton. You're heading to Vancouver soon. What is up for you in the immediate future then? Getting ready to, I guess you'll be at the Combine. What's the schedule ahead for you?
Yeah, so I'll be out of the regional combine here in Edmonton. The end of March, we also head out to Surrey for a week with the coaches, and then we'll be out there full-time starting in May for training camp. Right now, for me, a lot of it is just transitioning all of the roles that I hold here onto someone else, both of my jobs, and then just, I guess, really getting packed up and ready to go.
I'm just going to read you a couple comments here, if you don't mind, before I let you go. John Ohm in Winnipeg says, congrats, Tanya. Ryan H. watching on YouTube says, the CFL and Tanya taking the lead on this is great to see. Congratulations, Tanya. From Patrolman Pete in Winnipeg, congrats on being a true groundbreaker. Tanya, best of luck this season. Andrew Stute, a Montrealer, says, hey, Rod, I would like to say congrats to another strong woman. I have some strong women in my life, whether it be friends or family. Thank you, Tanya, for showing them that all is possible. Merci. And from Chris in Medicine Hat, congrats, Tanya, you rock. So I'm assuming you've had a lot of comments like that, but it never gets old.
Yeah, it's like I've said, I've had an overwhelming amount of support, not only from people that I've never met and, from all over the country, but I've had so much support from my friends and family, and especially from like our local female football community. It's been really great to see the impact that it's had on a lot of the young girls that have, just recently started playing football and have really bought into the sport and really bought into the process. And it's been really wonderful to see that impact.
Yeah, well, nothing but great blue skies ahead for this. Tanya, thank you for this. Congrats again, and good luck this season with the Lions.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Rod.
BC Lions defensive assistant Tanya Walter joining us on this Flame Tech Football Friday. Hey, everybody. Thanks for watching the RP Show on YouTube. And don't forget, we're live daily on YouTube from noon to 2 Eastern. If you like what you see, hit subscribe. And if you like the program, check around for other segments of The Rod Pedersen Show here on YouTube.